All right, welcome back everybody. This week's going to be fun. We're going to dive right into some classic Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This is Refugee from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And this came out on their Damn the Torpedoes album in 1979 and just really was their breakout, their third record, breakout album. The sound on it is amazing, and this was the first song that sort of jumped out at everybody. And it's a rocker that I know you love, and we're going to go through all the greatness on guitar that happens here, what Tom and Mike Campbell are playing. This is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet. I invite you to jump down right now, click subscribe, ring the bell. The bell will tell you when I drop new content. I do that every single week. All my lessons have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if there's other ways you want to support the channel, I really appreciate that. There's thanks, like throwing a tip in the tip jar, or even better, you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons I do on YouTube, just like this one. Links in the description, so check it out. Okay, so Refugee. So you're probably getting inundated on YouTube right now as I'm recording this, of a bunch of Tom Petty and Mike Campbell content for a couple reasons. One, because Mike Campbell just released in partnership with Fender, a Mike Campbell Red Dog Telecaster, and it's meant to recreate sort of the actual Tele that he played on this song. It's a Telecaster that he bought off of a student of his, and there'll be a link down below where you can pick that up from Sweetwater if you're interested, and there's a link here if you want to see more information about that guitar. Anyway, so that's going on right now, and at the same time there's also a biography that Mike Campbell put together, which you also may be aware of. This just came out. I've got an autographed copy, actually. Look at that. Mike Campbell. And great stories. Can't recommend this book highly enough, by the way. I'm sort of halfway through it right now. But I did want to call out some things that he talks about specifically with this song, which is great about these rock biographies for, guitar players, where they actually talk about their gear and stuff, like for nerds like us. It's awesome. But if you turn page 248, what you'll find is that, he talks about using this Red Dog Telecaster on it, which is a single coil in the bridge, and he's got a humbucker in the neck and a humbucker in the middle. And he calls it Red Dog. And so he used that, and he plugged it into a cranked Marshall, as he described it. So I'm going to play my not fully Red Dog, it's sort of half dog. It's got a humbucker and it's not red. Let's just call it Dog. How's that? And I'm cranking up my Marshall, my Marshall Studio 20 JTM 45. I love this thing. Oh my God. So we're going to get some tone out of that beast. And other details about my signal chain is going to be linked below in the description if you are curious about that. But with that, let's get right into sort of the chord shapes that are being used in Refugee and get right to it. So as Mike describes it, and it's funny, like guitar players will love this book because he talks about these songs that he's writing in terms of like the chords. He's like I was writing this song, it's like an F sharp, and it goes to an A, and it goes to an E, and then he talks about like, Here Comes My Girl. Yeah, I had this song when I was in A, and it moves to B. It's kind of funny how that happens. Anyway, okay, so the chords on Refugee, this is in F sharp, and I'm going to pull the volume down a little bit here just to demonstrate the chord shapes that he's using, all right? But I'll have the shapes over my shoulder, but here's how those chords are getting fretted on what you're hearing on the record, okay? This is your straight old F sharp minor. So you hit that low end of the chord and hit all the way across. Right, so you're going to climb up. And that E is super important. It's a power chord E. You're not really hearing that major third. So you can fret that E a couple different ways. You can sort of just mute that third string with your index finger and drag it all the way across. Or you can play an E this way, where you're sort of doubling the B string sound. Either way, but push it a little more. Right, so those are the sort of voicings for the main. And then what Mike comes in and does here on this little sort of intro section to cue us into the verse, he plays a little riff that's sort of based on F minor pentatonic here. But his sounds tougher. Let's do this. Because more is better. Let me get the strap off of here. Anyway, so that's how he launches into this great masterpiece. And so interesting when I listen to the isolated tracks closely, and I've heard him do this live a little bit, little versions of it, but what he doesn't do during the verse is it's actually very light touch, and he's up here on an F sharp, and he's utilizing this shape for an A and this shape for an E as the vocals are going on. Sometimes he does an open A string. E. But he's sort of just playing with the idea of light triads, higher up the neck, way, way understated. So just doing that, not to interfere and step on the vocal. And then the pre-chorus is just a hard D chord, and it's in this position. So I'm fretting the whole chord, but I'm really only playing those. So you can actually fret it that way if you want. But you hear him clearly pull down. You know, live, you'll see Tom play the, you know, and they don't do it the same every single time, but clearly on the record, he's here. And I say he, meaning the guitars that you're hearing. Mike talks a little bit about how when they're building this song up, you know, Tom had rhythm guitar on this too that he's playing, but Mike went back afterwards with Jimmy Iovine and he doubled a lot of Tom's stuff. So I think a lot of what you're hearing is actually Mike, Mike with Tom on there. But all right, and then you're back to your chorus. It only goes around one time on the first one, and you hear that sort of little end of that lick again into the verse. All right, so that's getting you into the sort of verse formation, and then it goes around and does the same thing again. Mike throws this in. Greatness, just that sort of root and fifth below. Think of like a D-shaped, that's an E. So he's just doing E major to F sharp minor, but he's just playing the root and the fifth of them. All right. And then just goes around again, goes through your pre-chorus and chorus. Chorus. Goes through twice. And then here's the bridge section. Love this bridge section. I love bands that pay attention to the bridge, or like build a bridge into a song, and it's very musical. And for a rock band, this is a great example of just a well-crafted bridge, in my humble opinion. And the chords that are happening here, I'll start underneath is an E to an A to a D, back to an E, into the instrumental solo, okay? But what Mike Campbell's playing over that is beautiful. So over that first E, he's taking, think of this shaped E. Just an E chord at the 12th fret, that little triad. And what he's going to do on each one of these, you're going to start on that B string of your triad. Bend it up and down. And you land on that triad. And he pulls it down to an A and does the same thing there. And he pulls it off to get that open D string, or you can just pluck the open D string. Come up to your D. D to E. And then very faintly, you don't really hear it on the record, but when you listen to the isolated, he does this to lead into the keyboard solo. Super cool. Never knew that was there. Yeah, so that part. And then into your, it's playing a keyboard solo, right? And he goes keyboard solo for a couple measures. It's Mike's turn to close it off, and he does this ripping, starts off in an F minor pentatonic down here, and always thought it was this, and actually it's not. It's actually, which is super cool. It just gets that open E string there, and then he does a climb up the neck, hitting that open E string in unison. Yeah, I guess in unison, against whatever note you're playing on your B string that you're climbing up the neck. And I'll talk about that in just a sec. All right, so here's a solo. So mean sounding. Love it, love it. So what's going on there? So like I said, there's that. That's that initial thing that he hit. So that climb up the neck, he's hitting a note on your B string and that open E string, right? And those notes start here at that 2nd fret. Just hit that once, slide up to your 5th. 7, 9, 10, 12, 14, and then you jump up here to 17. So what's going on there? Those notes on the B string are just the A major scale. I think you skip one note. Right, but that's all A major. Or you can think of it as F sharp minor, but you know, same sort of note pattern. But that's the notes that are coming up your B string. That's all it is. But don't play it like that. Play it like this. Yeah, and then come right back to your 2nd fret F sharp minor pentatonic. Just great. greatness, greatness. Everything you want in a rock song, right? And then from that point on, you know, he goes through, I think, the last verse, does that more of that. And his little riff changes. E, F sharp, A. All right, and then the only other thing I think he does is a pickup into the last chorus. Yeah, just greatness. Now, there's one thing that I'll share that I don't think anyone has put out there on the YouTubes, but there's this other little sort of jammin' riff that he throws in a couple times in the song, buried in the mix a little bit, but it shows up sort of right before he's doing his outro solo, you know, and I think it shows up very briefly earlier as well, but it's like pushed way down. But he does this thing where he's up here, right? Just very, very Mike, right? But yeah, right before that outro. He does that same sort of climb. Yeah, so he does sort of that same sort of guitar solo figure in that outro. And he just stops it there. And then unison bend. All right, and all the way through the outro. All right, kids, well, that was Refugee by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and the great guitar work from Mike Campbell, and I hope you learned something new today. If this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, jump down, click subscribe, ring the bell. The bell will tell you when I get new content to you, and I'll do that every single week, all my lessons. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if there's another lesson you want me to take on and do, let me know what that song is. And until next week, take care, everybody.